The Chicago man accused of killing Oscar winner Jennifer Hudson's mother, brother, and nephew appeared in court Tuesday. William Balfour, who had already been charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder and home invasion, was formally indicted by a grand jury during this latest hearing. That move allows the case to go to trial. No new details or charges emerged from the appearance, but Balfour's attorney did ask if his client could be transferred from a state facility to a Cook County jail to make communication easier. A decision on that request is expected in about 3 weeks. According to prosecutors, 27-year-old Balfour committed the October murders because he was upset that his estranged wife, Julia Hudson, was dating another man. Darnell Donnerson and Jason Hudson were found shot to death in the family's home. The body of Julian King, Balfour's 7-year-old stepson, was discovered a few days later on the back seat of an SUV. In an extensive search of Chicago's south and west sides, police uncovered the gun they say was used in each of the shootings. Balfour has been in custody since shortly after the killings. His attorney says that there is no hard evidence linking his client to the Hudson family deaths, and he's conducting his own investigation.
Me and you, and we talking. So now I can tell my side of the story of what happened on October 24th of 2008.
Details are revealed about the suspect in the murders of her family members. Department of Corrections records show William Balfour missed an appointment with his parole officer on Friday, the same day Hudson's mother and brother were shot to death and her nephew went missing. The parole agent says he followed up Friday afternoon on the no-show, and Balfour told him he was babysitting on Chicago's west side. That agent also says he believes he heard a child in the background. Hudson's nephew, Julian King, was found dead in the back seat of an SUV in that part of the city on Monday morning.
Chicago police have discovered the body of a young boy in this SUV. They confirm the license plate matches the number issued on the Amber Alert for Julian King, the nephew of Oscar-winning actress Jennifer Hudson. But so far, authorities have not identified the body. Jennifer Hudson's brother and mother were found shot dead in their Chicago home on Friday. That's when it was discovered 7-year-old Julian was missing. His mother is Jennifer Hudson's sister, Julia.
Just let my baby go.
Julia's estranged husband, William Balfour, who is Julian's stepfather, was taken into custody on Friday. Police are calling him a person of interest, but will not say if he's a suspect.
I wouldn't, in my wildest dream, would imagine that a crime happened all the way on the south side, end up in front of, across the street from my house. You know, it's devastating.
Authorities won't say how long the boy had been dead, but an autopsy revealed he had been shot multiple times. King's grandmother and uncle were discovered shot to death in the family home Friday morning. Englewood residents say even though they have heard their share of gunshots, they're hoping the Hudson murders will lead to a change in how people react now when they hear them.
If they hear anything like that, quick, call the police. Because, it could have been, they could have been saved, or they could have been alive, or the police could have came in time to get them out the house or take them to the hospital.
Balfour, who is Hudson's brother-in-law, was arrested just hours after the shootings. Apparently, that wasn't the first strike on his record since being released from prison in 2006. He was picked up back in June for driving around with about $100 worth of crack cocaine. Authorities decided not to send him back to jail on that charge. And in August, Balfour's parole officer was turned away when he tried to do a home visit. The agent reported that suspicious activity may have been going on inside.
We heard a loud bang. The police kicked the back door open. It wasn't no resistance or none of that, because they came in full force and put me right on the ground. We didn't know who it was. It could have been anybody.
Well, if you're getting calls about people killed and your face is on television and the police are about to come through your door.
Right, that's one option.
Well, what would the other option be?
It could have been anybody.
You understood why you would be a suspect, right?
As far as what?
As far as the murders.
No, I didn't understand.
An eerie reminder of the tragedy that cold October day back in 2008. Prosecutors say it was a fit of jealousy that turned deadly. The defense argues that Jennifer's brother was a drug dealer, an occupation that brought danger to his family, and that police wrongfully zeroed in on Balfour because the case involved a celebrity and they needed a suspect. The on-again, off-again relationship between him and Hudson's sister was off, and she had decided to see other people, a decision he would not accept. Jennifer's sister, a bus driver, was working that morning when prosecutors say her ex-husband entered the family home and killed Hudson's mother and Hudson's 29-year-old brother, Jason. When the shots rang out, it was such a common occurrence in the neighborhood, nobody reported it to police.
Unfortunately, it was just a typical day in Inglewood where you hear shots. And I heard them and didn't think too much of it, except for, gunshots again.
You didn't understand why you would have been considered a suspect?
No. For what? Everything that was said in trial about me making threats or anything like that, it was all new to me.
Prosecutors say it was a fit of jealousy that turned deadly. The defense argues that Jennifer's brother was a drug dealer, an occupation that brought danger to his family, and that police wrongfully zeroed in on Balfour because the case involved a celebrity and they needed a suspect. The on-again, off-again relationship between him and Hudson's sister was off, and she had decided to see other people, a decision he would not accept. Jennifer's sister, a bus driver, was working that morning when prosecutors say her ex-husband entered the family home and killed Hudson's mother and Hudson's 29-year-old brother, Jason.
Did you go through the what-ifs?
Of course. How can I not go through the what-ifs? If I had to marry him, if I hadn't saw what I thought I saw in him, and then once I did begin to see who he really was, I tried to get out. I was going out, and that was his promise. If you leave me, I'm going to kill you. I'll kill your family first. I left. And he did what he said he was going to do.
My whole team wasn't ready for trial. They basically said that they wasn't ready for trial, but we was forced to trial. I mean, they done tested everything, and I was cleared of it. Evidence. The keys was processed a month later. What police department take evidence off somebody and process it a month later? Keys that they saying that was in a file cabinet, locked up in the sergeant's office. Who is to believe that? What person in a right mind wouldn't just put them in evidence and then check them out when they need them? You did everything else that you took up off of me like that, processed the same day or the next day. I mean, there was a lot of stuff that was done that I just can't remember right off back. That was wrong. That was truly wrong.
Are people to believe that the key, the video, some of these statements, that those things, had they been presented, would have resulted in you being acquitted?
Yes.
These things show, in your opinion, that you didn't do this.
Exactly.
Is that right?
Exactly.
What about
the gun? I forgot about the gun, too.
When Jennifer Hudson testified, she said that she would tell her sister over and over again not to marry you. Were you aware of that?
No.
What kind of...
I mean, when the relationship that we had, when she comes around, it's always hi or what's going on or bye. I mean, this is a female that I grew up with. We went to the same elementary school.
If you didn't kill Jennifer Hudson's family, who did?
I don't know. I mean, I could sit here and speculate to many names and just throw them out there to you. It still wouldn't solve it, period. The thing that got me is when my ex-wife got up on the stand and she knew for a fact that I never made a threat to her. When they was asked why didn't she get an order of protection, she said she didn't believe me. I mean, I can assume that she had something to do with it, just off of that fact.
Your ex-wife?
Right, but I'm not going to do that.
Well, you just did.
No, I said I can assume that. I'm not saying that she had something to do with it. I didn't do that.
What motive would she have?
I don't know. I say I can assume that she had something to do with it. But I just said I'm not going to do that.
You can understand why you were convicted, can't you?
Yeah. I can understand it.
You just don't agree with it?
No. I'm never going to agree with it.
I know that your son is not named an official suspect in these murders as of tonight. He is a person of interest. Could you tell me, was he still romantically involved with the sister, Julia?
Was he with her?
Yes. Were they still together?
Yes, they were. Julia's birthday was just last week, and she had invited my son to have a slice of cake with her. People don't understand what's going on. My son loved her. She loved him.
Well, doesn't he have another girlfriend?
That's his wife.
Okay, hold on.
Regardless to whatever anyone says, my son still loved Julia.
Okay, but he did have a girlfriend.
She had a boyfriend.
Okay, I understood. So they still, according to you, had loving feelings toward each other, but were broken up. They were broken up?
They were just together Thursday, right?
Right.
How were they broken up?
Well, I mean, if one has a girlfriend and one has a boyfriend, apparently they're not living together.
But they, because you know why? So many people was in their business. They didn't have no privacy at all.
Now, the little boy, Julian, that's not your son's biological son, is it?
My son was incarcerated in 1996.
Right. Okay. So the answer would be no.
Listen to what I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
He was only 16 years old. William had stolen a car in 1996. He pled guilty. He served 9 years in Canton, Illinois. That's where me, his sister, and his godmother went and picked him up. May the 5th. 2006. Okay. William was 16 at the time. No, he has never had a gun. No, he has never been bodily harmed to no one. No, he has never been the type of kid that you could say was a violent type.
Now, Miss Balfour, now hold on just a moment. I'm not saying that your son is a suspect in these murders. I'm not saying that. Police have not said that. But when you say he stole a car in 96, wasn't there a person on the car at that time? It was a car, Jack, and he pled guilty to attempted murder.
Let me tell you about that. My son was still in the man's car, right? The man saw my son starting his car. He ran outside, jumped on top of his own vehicle. This is why they said vehicle hijacking, because my son the man jumped on top of the car while my son was still in it, right? He stuck his hand inside the driver's side and started choking my son.
You remember what the judge said about you when he sentenced you? You remember Judge Burns?
Yeah, I know who Judge Burns is. I just don't remember what he said.
Judge Burns said, "Your heart is an Arctic night, and your soul is as barren as dark space." You understand what that means?
Yeah, it's his opinion.
Do you have a heart and a soul?
Of course I do. It's not what he said it is.
And you don't know who did it?
No.
Or you're just not willing to say?
No, it's nothing like that. It's nothing like that. You know how many people are steady getting out of penitentiaries for some that people think that they did and it wasn't true? For prosecutorial misconduct? For police misconduct? Abuse of discretion? I mean, all those words mean something, Mr. Gowdy. All of them. It just takes a matter of time. It's like a needle in a haystack. You gotta find it. Only way you're gonna find it if you lift it up and it fall out.
And you think you're capable of finding that needle on your own?
I think I'm on the right path.
The right path being what?
As far as doing my own legal work. Studying. Getting right to the point.
Do you think you should be someday exonerated for what happened?
I believe so.
How were you able to get through that time?
Well, my family. Mm-hmm. Ooh, it's a very emotional subject. So,
I know.
My baby. Mm-hmm. And God.
And God. Mm-hmm.
My grandmother, my mother, even my brother. I can hear him saying to me, "Jenny, knock it off." Like right now, my mama be fussing at me. Why you always crying? Stop crying.